going on? I am Gregg Sussman, joined today by Megan Nunez of FanDuel, who's here to break down Week 16 and give us her top picks on the board. What's going on, Megan?
Not a whole lot. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's Christmas week. It should be a fun week in the NFL, and of course, a little holiday to celebrate here as well. So let's get into your top pick on the board, and that brings us to the Arizona Cardinals. Played a tough game last week against the Philadelphia Eagles. Wound up covering when it was all said and done. You think they cover again? They are favored rather by 5.5.
5.5 seems like a lot to lay in a divisional game, but this 49ers team is absolutely depleted in almost every position and really doesn't have much to play for. The same can't be said for the Cardinals, whose playoff hopes are still alive and well, and they need to win this game. Sure, they had a little scare last week against that new Jalen Hurts Eagles team, but as you said, they ended up covering and winning that game. And Kyler, whenever he's in a scoring marathon, he tends to be the winner there. So if you want to flip it to the other side, the Niners played the Cowboys last week, and they played them tough, but there just wasn't enough talented, able bodies out there to get the cover or the win. And so I'm going to go ahead and take the Cardinals here because the Niners just lost one more in Nick Mullins, and I just don't see this team putting together a last-ditch effort against this Cardinals team, so I feel safe taking them here at the 5.5.
The Cardinals at 5.5 seem like an interesting one. As you said, not one that we would necessarily think you'd go with, but you're comfortable here going with the points, taking them at this number, and hoping they survive once again for the second week in a row. Up next, this is, to me, you look at this one and you circle it on the schedule. It's kind of like the game of the week, right? The Steelers and the Colts, potential playoff preview. And the Steelers, well, they've looked as mortal as anybody over the past couple of weeks, losing first to Washington and to Buffalo, then to Cincinnati on Monday night. Everything is going wrong with Pittsburgh. And they're facing an Indianapolis Colts team where a lot is going right. So this game, all of a sudden, it's a pick 'em. And you're on the team that doesn't look nearly as good, the Pittsburgh Steelers. How come?
So you've highlighted the Steelers have looked terrible the last couple of weeks, but I think this is a buy low spot for a team that was just undefeated a few short weeks ago. There's one thing that I've learned betting the Steelers team. They play down to competition, a la that Bengals game last week. I think Tomlin is going to give this team an earful, rip them a new one, especially Juju. And I think this is going to be a get-right spot here. Look, I know that the Colts team are no scrubs, but Phillip Rivers is going to fold under that pass rush from the Steelers. And I just think that the Steelers are the right side here, though they haven't looked, as you said, they've looked mortal the last couple of weeks.
The Steelers may not be invincible like we thought they once were, but Mike Tomlin's one of the best coaches in the NFL. And if he's going to get his ship right, time is now before the playoffs begin. It's a good spot against the Indianapolis Colts. It's a tough spot, but one that they're going to have to get through if they're going to want to do anything inside the playoffs. One last game to get to, and it's a really big game out in the NFC West between Seattle and LA. The Rams, of course, fell to the Jets last week. Sean McVay embarrassed. And he's going to have his team out angry this week, kind of like Mike Tomlin's. But this time, you're going with the other side of it. You're going with the Seattle Seahawks and Pete Carroll. The Seahawks are favored by 1.5. You believe the Rams fall again. Why is that?
So this is arguably the biggest game between the Seahawks and the Rams. Though obviously, as you said, the Rams had an absolutely atrocious loss last week to the Jets. It definitely was something no one saw coming, an any given Sunday type of game. But there's one thing that I got out of it, and that is that the Rams are vulnerable. And the biggest vulnerability that I saw is Jared Goff. If Jared Goff has time to get in rhythm and make his reads, he's a great quarterback, but that's a big if. I think that Pete Carroll is going to have this defense ready to give him fits and make him uncomfortable as soon as he steps on the field. On the other side, you have the Seahawks, who didn't look great against the Washington football team last week, but the Washington football team has a reputable defense, and they're seemingly to get better every single week. I feel like both of these teams probably had a look-ahead game last week, thinking about the game this week, and that was given to their lackluster performances. So I'm going to go ahead and take the quarterback that that I've ridden all year, that I've trusted all year, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Seahawks laying that 1.5. I love Pete Carroll and these close games. They're usually decided by 3 points, and the Seahawks are generally the winners of that side. So I'm going to go ahead and take Mr. Unlimited, Pete Carroll, the 12th man, and go ahead and ride Seattle.
Seahawks team that you were riding early on the season, it's completely different, right? It's completely changed from where they were. And in order for them to get back on the right foot as they head towards the playoffs, this is a game they need to win against the Los Angeles Rams as they fight for that NFC West crown. The Rams need it as well, but you like Seattle in what should be hopefully one of the games of the week. Like you said, they played well against a Washington defense that has certainly looked the part as they try to make their own playoff push. Last week, the Rams, of course, fell to the Jets. You think the Seahawks get it done, and Russ cooks once again here this weekend. That's going to do it for us here at the FanDuel Hurry Up. Megan, we appreciate the time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Good luck to you, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone out there.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays to everybody watching. Good luck this weekend, and have a wonderful and safe holiday. We'll see you back here on Monday for another edition of the FanDuel Hurry Up.